Introspect, take a sec, watch it step, where you step, when you step, falling free through the sky, feel the breeze, feel the eye, all your fears, let them die, energy never lies, introspect, take a second, let your world unfold.
To this day, what do people only recognize Nas for?
The hits.
Illmatic.
Okay.
25-year anniversary. He's come out with recent stuff since then.
True.
Nobody cares.
True.
They only look at Illmatic. And he himself has commented on that. He doesn't want to just be remembered for that one album.
But then when you bring up in the conversation of Juicy J, that's where...
So you're telling me that Nas is just going to play the whole Illmatic album?
To me, yes. Yes.
Imagine an artist hopping on verses to entertain the people. He just plays one album.
But I'm not seeing Juicy J getting 13 wins or 13.
He getting 13.
Man, start this pod.
He getting 13.
Win some, you lose some.
Abe over here tripping.
Nas loses in this situation.
Another day.
Your episode 16 it is, season 2. Welcome. Thank you guys so much for joining us again on this lovely Friday. I'm your host, Cecil, coming to you live through Apple. If you're listening on Apple and Spotify, thank you guys so much. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you guys so much. Please subscribe to us. I'm with my boys. Osan is here. Abraham is here. Britton is here. Thank you guys again for the listenership. Shout out to the people still working on the front lines in the hospital. Shout out to sports is back. Who else? Chefs,
including Chef Boyardee.
Hey man, Chef Boyardee, you gotta hold it down. You know what I'm saying?
Because Aunt Jemima left the building.
Oh
Yo,
no, she's been retired.
She's
Uncle Ben is on his way out.
He retired too. They about to retire Uncle Ben too.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the shifts and changes, all the recipes that are changing because the ingredients are being lost to racial discussions. So
adobo,
dang.
Goya go by.
I still got a container of Goya adobo. I'm like, look,
that hurt.
You better
I'm not
figure
going
out.
to throw it out.
You better figure out that homemade recipe.
But
make it yourself.
I may not purchase more once this runs out. But fortunately for me, or unfortunately, you can cut that out.
So you still got it.
And Cecil. I may have somewhat of a full bottle, so it's gonna be a while anyway.
So wait, he said I
So
allegedly
I am
got
going
a
to
bottle in the
enjoy it.
cabinet. I may or may not.
I acknowledge that I have it, and I acknowledge that I will use it. It's the question of whether that means I will stop purchasing future products. That's still up in there. For now, I'll just play it like, let me use this one up. Fortunately, it happens to be a near full bottle, so it's gonna be a while.
You rationing. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, you're rationalizing.
No, shoot. When it comes to the ingredients,
No, he's literally gonna ration out that bottle.
The hand doesn't stop until the ancestors say stop.
That's it. Oh yeah, that is enough. That is enough.
What is
So,
this?
hey,
Funny bottle.
Y'all saw. I put it in one of the group chats the other day, a couple days ago. I made some homemade fried rice, and someone asked me for my recipe, and I was like,
Yeah, don't do that. I have a best friend actually that you ask them about their stir fry rice, and they're like, "I'm not telling you." I'm like, "Yo,
no. I gave them the ingredients, but as I was thinking about
is because,
like seasoning, I can't give you measurements.
Like I don't measure stuff.
You just
it's when your spiritual ancestors from 5 generations past
tell you
whisper in your ear.
It's enough.
Yeah, that's enough.
That's enough.
It's fine.
Son, that's enough. It's okay.
When you cranking that salt,
complete.
you just we keep going.
Like they said, like 2 tablespoons of salt. I'm
It's
like,
attached.
look, I don't know how
is
much
that to
that
start,
is.
or is that to?
And they'd be like, yo, that's a lot of salt. It's not enough.
Yo, I'm sitting there with the soy sauce like this.
They're like, yeah, so the red pepper flakes, we just add a little bit. I'm like,
I don't know. Just put it in.
I low-key be
Just
opening,
put what you
unscrewing
gotta
it because
put in.
those holes aren't big enough for the red pepper flakes, and I'm like, nah,
Yeah,
this
we
is
just-
unacceptable.
I need the
So I
heat.
just open the bottle. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, no, not enough. I need to be able to be like, when I look
It's
at
a
it, like,
feel.
yeah, he threw red pepper flakes in there.
Yeah.
I can tell he threw that. I don't know, like, I got to shift around the food a little bit. No.
I be watching these cooking shows, some of these baking shows, and they require them to put certain ingredients in, and so I'm watching these bakers explain what we've prepared for you today is an orange truffle cupcake with a dark licorice liqueur, and so the judges take a bite and go, "Oh, this is good," but I don't taste any of the liqueur in there. I don't taste any of the licorice root in there
because their ancestors told them we don't add that much seasoning.
That's it.
Yeah.
You don't even need to wash the chicken. Just throw it in there. What is salt and pepper? We don't do that.
Or no, the best one was that rice cooking video I sent you. Have you seen that joint? Yeah. What is that?
Hey, I gotta pull it up now. Hold on. Cause I seen that joint and dude had me.
I sent that to Abe and Abe,
he was genuinely offended.
Abe wanted to fight me. He legit wanted to fight me. And you know what? It was on the same day I was making fried rice too. That was the cold part.
Hold on, I got it.
So wet.
Drain it.
What's she doing? What's she doing? Drain the. Oh my God! Woman, hiya! Drain the.
The rice.
She draining rice with colander. Hi. How can you drain rice with colander? This is not pasta. I never seen anyone drain rice. If your rice too wet, you fucked up. Don't bring colander into your rice cooking. Hiya. Get a nice rice cooker. Don't mess with saucepan like this lady here. Don't mess with colander. If your rice too wet, you recook the rice. No way to save wet rice.
Has quite a lot of starch in it, which will make it.
What the hell? What the hell? Uncle Roger is so upset. I put my leg down from chair. Why are you running water through? You're ruining the rice. First you use colander to dry the rice, and then you put water. Then why bother drying the rice? You cook rice like this? How did this woman get on BBC Food? She never asked Uncle Roger. Uncle Roger, teach master.
Wait.
I can't breathe.
How did she get on BBC?
It was BBC at this point that I went from like being furious to just laughing. I was like, look, yeah, like
when she pulled that colander out to drain the rice.
He said, "What?" And then
Y'all rice too wet.
What?
Hold on, I gotta play the rest. I gotta play the rest. Hold on, wait.
Making rice, but this woman colander on the rice, then water through the rice. This is Uncle Roger sad now.
Oh God.
Me now, and then just add your garlic and ginger.
Garlic, ginger. Okay, classic Asian seasoning. Okay, this one okay.
And then you want to put all the other ingredients in. Rice.
Oh, the sad gloopy rice that ran through colander.
The egg. Spring onions. And peas. And then you just want to stir it all together and cook it through. For about 3 to 5 minutes.
This look okay, but look too healthy. Where your MSG? You don't use MSG. How to make good egg fried rice? This is just white people egg fried rice. MSG is the king of flavor. If you sad in life, use MSG. If you happy in life, use MSG. Put MSG.
Use MSG if you happy
The
in
one
life.
where everybody's like, yo, we don't use MSG.
The crazy part is there's nothing wrong with MSG. We've been lied to for years.
There was a distinct difference when they stopped using MSG. You could tell you were just like,
this ain't it. That ain't it, Chief. I think that's probably why I made fried rice that night. Was because of her pitiful.
Yeah.
attempt.
See, I think in her mind she decided, and I can't believe I'm rationalizing this.
I don't know why.
The wedding was because when to cook it, if it's dry, it's going to burn.
Well,
so by it, you're going to cook out the moisture. Still stupid as hell.
So here's the thing. Because think about it. She didn't even wash the rice. Okay?
No.
She washed it after she dried it.
You wash it before. You're supposed to wash before.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you wash rice before
Here's
you cook
the thing.
it.
So I haven't mastered cooking rice in a pot like my parents have. I haven't mastered it. I use a rice cooker. I am not ashamed to admit that. Now, here's the problem with people use rice cookers that I realize. They don't wash the rice still.
I do.
I was like, "Are you crazy?" I get that rice cooker. I put the rice in. All right, I use my hands.
You get in there till it's not cloudy.
Yeah.
Rinse. Sometimes I got to do it 5 times.
Seriously.
I will do it, and then I put it in the rice cooker, and I said, "All right, peace. I'll be back later." When I see that light changes, I'll be back. So it's just colander.
She drained it like it was pasta.
And then decided that's the time to wash it. Like, all right, now we need to wash the starch.
But then she washed, even though he said, okay, the rice was like, it's okay to dump it in the pot, on the pan.
Because the moisture was going to get cooked out.
True.
So
it was just
wet to dry.
It was just too clean. It was just like, okay, really? Like, sis.
My fried rice got to look dirty. My fried rice gotta look like, it went through a fight.
It went through it.
Okay, tell me this: Do you wash your chicken in the sink?
I wash my chicken, yes.
And then you clean the sink.
I use it with
people do that.
Lemon juice to wash my chicken.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Because most people nowadays be like, "Oh my god, the sink, it's dirty." I'm like, well, if you bleach that,
first of all, you wash the sink before
you wash it,
Yeah, and after.
cook, and then you wash it after.
Thoroughly.
Wash your hands too.
Yes, and wash your hands.
I mean, all that time, I don't know how if you don't wash your hands throughout the whole process.
Now, don't think that clearing your dishes out the sink is good enough. Like don't do that,
bruh. I will start scrubbing.
Right.
You get in there.
Yeah,
in that compartment.
you gotta do it.
I need to scrub.
In the crevices.
I don't want no slime. I don't want no debris touching my chicken. Hell no.
You know what I'm saying? So put the chicken in the sink, a clean sink. It is still okay. So for those who feel like,
so where were people washing it before? In the washing machine?
Shoot, I don't even know.
I got a funny story for y'all. I knew a lady way back in the day, friend of my mom's, and she was talking about the first time she ever cooked chitlins.
I feel like this story gonna hurt you. It
No,
look like
it's
it hurt.
not gonna hurt me. It might hurt the listeners who like chitlins. This lady,
I hate chitlins.
She's learned chitlins are disgusting.
Hate it.
First of all, no, they're not.
I feel like you would say that though. I feel like you would eat some chitlins. Like,
they're good.
how? Like, what'd you do to them? What do you do to them?
I've never made them before. I've only had them from people from the South, like those who lived in Jersey who were raised from the South. I've had them. My parents never made them.
Nah, I can't. I seen my grandmother, my nana.
Why are you still looking at me?
I seen my nana make them chitlins.
Just the cleaning process, just the cooking process,
Never.
the stench that it leaves in your home.
I'm not eating intestines.
No.
I'm just not.
I've known people, they cook it, they're cleaning the chitlins.
Well, we eat Shaki.
There's still animal boo boo in there.
Listen.
Eat Shaki.
You eat Shaki.
You don't eat that?
Anyhow,
You
so
ain't
let
had
me
menudo
continue.
before?
I've had
I've had menudo.
So
I've
they
had
don't eat
menudo.
Shaki?
It's
That's the same thing.
I'm a visual
It's not the
person.
same thing.
It's not. But
It's
I'm
not.
a visual person. So for me,
The
I have
lining
to,
is different, bro. Tripe
Yeah.
is different.
Yeah.
That's different from the intestines, bro.
I think it is.
You'll eat lining, but you won't eat intestine.
Because the intestines still got the
You eat
stuff
they
in there.
clean it. You eat
I
liver?
don't, bro. Listen,
They don't.
Listen.
eat tongue?
I have yes, absolutely.
I have never eaten tongue ever.
Absolutely.
I would not do it actually.
Lengua is delicious.
Bomb, especially when cooked properly. Anyways, back to the story. So this lady's telling, my mom, I remember she from the South. I remember the first time they had me making chitlins, and they said make sure you clean the chitlins. So I got out the soap and the bleach, and I cleaned the chitlins with soap and bleach, and I served them up, and folks was sick. And I was wondering, why were they sick? Patrice, you cooked them with soap and bleach. And she was like, yeah, I found out afterward that probably wasn't the best idea.
I was wondering why they would say, afterwards.
After the fact. After the fact.
A couple of months after, someone was like, that definitely.
Yeah, I
was the
shouldn't
best
done that,
idea.
Osa. I was just in my good music, and I was just watching the chitlins, and I was watching everything, and I realized.
So after folk got sick, that's when you realized.
I
She was dead
realized
serious, like,
When they first got sick, I was like, they must not like chitlins.
what's wrong with them?
did they play outside too much? Like, what happened?
You straight cooked it with. You straight cleaned them.
No.
Like legitimately got soap and cleaned it like it was like you were cleaning.
Like you had some
Involuntary
Tide.
manslaughter was about to be put on the table at that point.
Oh God, nah, I can't do it. My mom and my auntie eats it, and they'll slap some hot sauce and ketchup on it, and I'll still be looking like
there's not enough hot sauce.
There's not enough condiments in the world to make me eat
All
that.
right, yo, what's up with you mentioned a condiment that just like I need to understand. What's up with the hatred for ketchup?
I don't have it.
I don't hate ketchup. I just don't like the things that people tend to put ketchup on.
Like what?
I just saw this
Burgers?
thing. I just saw a question. Someone asked it today on my Facebook. Do you put ketchup on your tacos?
Ooh, I used to. And then I came to the light.
Y'all talk about me.
I came
I'm
to the
from
light.
Jersey. I didn't grow up
I came to the
around
light.
Mexican food.
I got
would
help.
never put ketchup on tacos.
I look.
Stop it.
I got some help.
Get some help.
Thank you. Ketchup on your... I just can't. Britton, do you put ketchup on your tacos? Thank you, Britton.
He paused.
He looked like, what kind of question?
Nah, he's
I
trying
got
to
nervous.
spit it. He's trying to spit it. He's like, oh, he a fellow heathen like me.
No,
Welcome.
no, not today.
Come on.
I'll be
Come on,
honest though, and I maybe this was a struggle meal. Maybe it's just because I was weird as a kid. So I've always loved bread, always loved
Yeah.
carbs. So I enjoy, I'm the kid. I was the kind of kid in the morning, wake up,
Hey, white bread.
pop open that country crock, slap it on the
Listen.
bread, and just. But here was my other guilty pleasure as a kid.
Oh, but that's what we used to do with the bread, and then we had the Milo.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
I'm tempted to buy some Milo. So
Bro,
I got the bread.
there's a Caribbean store by my house.
Yeah.
They got the Milo.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Facts.
Like that was a struggle
Facts.
meal for sure.
Yes.
Like you got drink and food at the same time.
It don't even matter the label. Just drink. Like you got drink.
You got
drink.
You good. I used to mix Milo with Nesquik.
Wow.
When you wanted to make it a
Boy.
chocolate.
Oh yeah.
You wanted,
That would hit. But I used to eat bread with ketchup.
Oh, that was the
By
lick.
itself?
No, that was it. That was the lick.
Just slather some ketchup on some bread.
Yeah.
No, I needed to have something on it.
Nah, ketchup and bread.
No,
that was it for
when
me.
you didn't have nothing else.
I still do it from time to time just to remind myself.
When I didn't have nothing,
Just to remember your why.
when I didn't have nothing,
Okay.
I would eat just the bread. Now,
Listen.
Nah, I thought
you know
the
what?
ketchup on
I
it.
won't say that it's weird. I won't. But sometimes, when I'm like, yo, I need some flavor on this bread, I will look to see what
I go to
condiments
salami.
are available. What condiments can I put on? Like, is there garlic aioli somewhere in this?
Oh no, I mess with some garlic aioli.
garlic aioli.
So I can put it on the bread.
You made it sound like you come on.
No.
Ketchup, though.
I'm just
Ketchup
saying,
is-
like, I get it because sometimes you need to add a good condiment. It's just that for me, it's not ketchup. I'm looking for garlic aioli, and if you don't have garlic aioli, I'm just like, all right, we don't got butter.
Did y'all ever make the Struggle cinnamon sugar French toast? Cinnamon sugar toast.
Oh yeah, with the butter and
the butter and the cinnamon
and
and
the
sugar.
cinnamon.
Boy.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? My butter, the butter that we used to get it a lot is Imperial. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
Imperial
It's either
butter.
Imperial or Country Crock.
Oh, that country. Listen, put some Imperial. Back then, I messed with white bread a lot. I don't know why I never touched wheat bread.
Never, not ever. Always wheat.
As
wheat
I got
bread.
older, wheat bread. That's all I eat now. When I got old, when I was younger, though, white bread for some reason, that Wonder Bread was like clutch for me. So
I won't clown you for that because it was
Yeah.
the same way.
Yeah.
Up until like, for me, 8th grade, it was potato bread that I loved.
Potato bread smacks.
But here's the thing:
That-
my mom buy us white bread, and
Nope.
she bought
She didn't
my
buy us
dad potato bread. That was his bread. You don't
yeah.
touch the potato
You
bread.
don't touch my
Yeah.
nice bread.
It was his.
my dad still got his eggs. Like
Every
there's a
now and
special
then
kind
I'll
of
be
eggs.
like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Daddy, you need bread?" Or I take an extra slice.
Yeah,
out.
just
That's
extra
my
slice. Yep.
Yeah.
Because
One for you.
technically,
2 for you, 1 for me.
the only time the bread was touched was to give it to you. So you the only one. You may not remember how many slices you had, but
Right.
that one was. That's when you sneak. When it's late at night, like I
Absolutely.
want some toast.
That's it.
With a potato bread. At.
Yeah.
And
Wonder
you
bread.
can only have one. If you have 2, it becomes noticeable.
Listen,
You in trouble.
But then my mom switched to wheat bread because at that time people were saying how wheat bread was much more healthy
Yep.
and whatnot.
Yep.
And I was against it at first because
Yep.
the wheat bread, some wheat bread look weird. They got the oats on it. I'm like, what is that?
if
That's
it
the
got
best
too many,
kind.
if it got too many
No,
though,
no, no,
for
no,
me,
no, no.
I was like, ooh, it's too chunky. I
Or when
need.
you bite in the bread and you be
You get a
like,
crunch.
when did bread become crunchy when
Yeah.
it's not toasted?
I did not like it.
So it took me a while, and then it's like, yo, I can't touch white bread. I can't
Yeah.
have it because it don't hit.
It
and
don't-
the only wheat bread I get, the one that I love the most, is the one with the oats and the seeds in it. Because that one is really,
if that's what you
really
like,
good.
Yeah, I
mess
can do
with Dave's Killer Bread. Dave, you better give me some free. You better sponsor us. Dave's Killer Bread.
Yo, I was Dave.
Dave's
if you
Killer
sponsor
Bread?
us, I will have a loaf of bread right here, and I'll just be eating it while we
I'm about to tell you Dave's story.
Stand
Dave
it right
went
here.
to prison. Okay, came out. was like he wanted
learned
to find
that
something to
prison
do.
technique to make bread, huh?
And he got a passion for
They
bread.
be innovative out in the yard. I don't know this from experience.
Not at all.
Just-
Even though right now
You sound real fresh.
I don't know this personal experience.
I don't know, but you
I know how to make a mean mac and cheese with a cup of noodles,
I'm just
a
saying.
slice of Kraft, and
The skills that they learn when it comes to cooking
Listen, I learned
can't be
salami.
beat. Can't be beat.
you ever
Salami and bread.
Y'all watch The Last OG with Tracy Morgan?
I'm not a fan of Tracy Morgan.
No.
I don't watch anything
Go and
related
watch
to
it. Because here's the thing. I'm not a fan.
About to go off.
He was.
No,
he was somewhere.
I don't. It's just I don't.
I'm
find
not a
it
fan.
funny.
I'm not a fan of Tiffany Haddish, and she in
She's
the
not
show.
funny either.
She's not
But
funny.
the show is
So they're
actually
both
good.
in it,
and the show's
and
actually
you want me
good.
to watch it when neither is
Well,
funny?
that's that.
Listen to me. You know me. I don't recommend just anything. You know
Oh,
me.
my
I
goodness.
don't recommend just anything. Go watch.
Hey,
The Last
there's
OG.
always the first time, and I don't want to have this be your first time. So
Go ahead and watch The Last
I'm
OG.
good.
Okay.
What show do you watch that you secretly watch that nobody knows that you will watch? They would catch you watching.
I don't know because people.
Oh, easy. Got you. 90 Day Fiance.
I can't watch reality shows. They're so.
You know
boring.
why I enjoy 90 Day Fiance? Because every season they got one Nigerian on there who's scamming somebody, and I'm like, how do y'all keep falling for this? How do you keep falling for this? They got a cat on
how
there.
they do that?
This dude Michael claimed he's 31. He look about 40, 45. Okay, easily.
Wait, was he bald?
Absolutely.
They could have done
That is straight scrape.
When that
That is
happens,
bad.
9 times out of 10, they're already in their 40s.
Right.
Yeah.
So my man's Michael, he met this 50-something-year-old, 52, 53-year-old woman named Angela. Angela, she a whole grandma. And he talking, I love you. I want to come to this. I want to come and be a businessman. I want to meet my hero, Donald Trump. He's
My hero. Whoa. Wow.
bruh. I'm looking at this, and Angela is she a chain smoker. She from the South. She sound like this. Michael, I'm not gonna let you run me. I'm an American woman. She sound just like that. I be crying every single episode when they're on. 90 Day Fiance, go and watch it. Go and watch it. You'll thank me later. The best ones is 90 Day the Other Way, where the Americans go to the other country to live there because they can't figure out how to get their
I'm mad
spots
they
there.
just added. They just like, we're going to keep the same name.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, no. They got
You're
like
gonna be blunt with it.
you got 90 Day Fiance, 90 Day the Other Way, Before the 90 Days, 90 Day Strikes Back.
What?
Because folks be getting clowned on that show. Folks get
90 Day
some of the folks get
Strikes Back.
clowned on that show. So it's them reading all the mean tweets and comments from the people, from viewers, and having their say about it.
Yeah, those be hilarious.
There's 90 Day Pillow Talk, where couples who have been on the show previously, or people
What
who've been
channel
on the
is
show
this?
previously. TLC, I think.
Lifetime.
It's definitely.
It sounds TLC-ish.
Lifetime.
So people who have been on
Lifetime
the
got a lot
show
of biopics.
before, they have them watching the show. They started this in quarantine. They have them watching the newest episodes of the show and commenting on it. So it's funny to watch alumni who were like, "Dang, you're really that dumb? Like for real?"
Bro, what? That
90 Day
I gotta
Fiance.
watch.
That's my
I
show.
just
90 Day
gotta watch
Fiance.
it.
You're welcome.
I don't know.
90 Day Fiance.
Meanwhile, actually, It-Man came out too. It-Man 4.
Finally came to Netflix. I've been waiting
Yeah.
for it to come to Netflix.
I'm like halfway through it. I stopped because I had to do something.
Did you feel some type of way watching it? Because it's very, very timely.
Yeah, it. I can't describe it yet. I gotta finish it, but I do feel just it's appropriate. Like it's interesting, and I'm like,
very on time.
this is eerily appropriate right now. I was just mad how they like did the closed captioning. Like it still amazes me how they match up the timing of the words. Like the timing of the words actually didn't match the words that they actually were saying on the screen. What that was on the screen. Like the screen would be saying one thing, there'd be like one or two extra words that the voiceover would say.
Yeah.
But other than that, I came across that movie. It opened up with, of course, the black dude like giving a note to the guy.
Yeah.
That was just kind of corny, but it was funny at the same time. But
Have you watched the other three? You watched the other three?
I have.
Okay. I'm a huge fan of kung fu movies. So
No, it's really dope.
If
It's really
that
dope.
was timely, then it seems like Netflix is just being very timely with all the stuff that
They trying. They
because
trying.
Last Chance You,
Yeah.
watch that new season.
I need to watch it. You said a lot about it.
Very timely to what's going on in the last, and it's crazy because it was made clearly 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
Very timely what's at the forefront of society's minds today. You know, in terms of like, hey, the previous seasons, the common trope was drug and gang violence that impacted these young men.
Right.
This season, I haven't finished it. I'm only halfway through. This season, though, you see just the mental effect of parents, of families, not just like, oh, they were some raging alcoholic or they abandoned me. No, more so of like they were in my life.
Yeah.
But maybe they pushed too hard.
Yep.
Or maybe, you know, they didn't push enough. And how that really affects their mental capacity when they're in trying to achieve their dreams of playing D1 college football.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, all right, it's good to not see this stereotype of how especially every black kid who comes into JUCO, man, yeah, you know, they couldn't make it because they were involved with the streets or whatnot. It's like, no, not all. Not
that's not the story.
That's not
the story.
Like, that's not what happened. Because that's what the first 4 seasons all about.
Yeah.
All of them were related to drugs or gang violence in some sort of way. This season is like, all right, the only so far drug abuse I've seen is the fact that one of the kids' mom, and he's actually a white kid, is like, I don't mean to sound rude, but a crackhead.
Rude.
But then you learn about
has an addiction to crack.
There it is.
But
there
then you learn that
Osa.
the family he is staying with, his great aunt and his great uncle.
Yeah.
You learn that side of the family has dark secrets because their grandmother is actually the author of The Mist of Avalon. Yeah.
Wow.
So the new season, one of the boys, his grandmother is the author of The Mist of Avalon, which is one of my favorite Arthurian pieces of legend because I love how she flipped it.
Yeah.
She came at it with you want to know why she came at it from a feminist point of view?
Talk to me.
Tell us.
Because the grandfather of the family, he believed that pedophilia was okay.
Got it. Gosh.
And so this side, first of all, this side of the family that he's staying with, they're all writers and novelists.
Wow.
All of them writers and novelists. So the grandfather was a pedophile, and he got caught and was sent to prison, died in prison before the boy was born. But that side of the family justifies it. They're like, the great aunt on the show will say, we shouldn't measure people only by their flaws. We should celebrate the accomplishments despite their flaws.
Is this the author aunt that's talking? The great aunt is the author? Or is it?
No, so the grandmother is long past.
Okay, got
the grandmother's the one that wrote
Got
the
it.
Mist of Avalon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the
this
great aunt is the
great
one he's
aunt.
staying with, though.
Yeah, because the money that the grandmother made, they decided to buy this massive house up in the bay.
Oh, it's like Knives Out.
They have people who live in there, and it's mostly members of the writing family. Like again, most of their family all writers, so they've had family members stay in there and whatnot. Yeah. So they have portraits of people's writing accomplishments. They have tons of books, completely different from a kid who's like, "Yo, I'm trying to play D1 football." It's opposite sides. So you find out that side of the family, like, overlooks that the patriarch of the family was a pedophile. You learn that he abused the boy's mom, and the boy himself says that living here, like, I'm grateful for them providing me a home and whatnot, because he had a volatile home situation. But he said living with them made him realize and understand and forgive his mom for how she raised him and his brothers, because he realized just what she had to go through and how that affected her parenting skills. And I'm like, yo, the kids this season, they're more mature. Like, they understand more.
It's more nuanced.
Yeah. And it's just, any psychology majors, they would love, this would be a great case study into the young men.
Yeah.
And how family
Yeah.
impacts him, not the absence of family.
Yeah.
Right, but actual family
But
and the
actual
complexities.
family.
Well, them are open too now. Like it's they're sensitive.
That's
to
why I'm saying that
everything.
it's very timely.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Netflix has been dropping some very
Very timely.
timely
I
shows
watch
and
it.
movies.
And I think it along those lines, though, I don't think we talk enough about. And yeah, we know the importance of the family structure and what happens when, for example, the man is not in the home. But we don't talk enough about what happens with dysfunctional family structure and how that can impact how even if you have a father in the home, maybe he's absent, not present.
Ironically, one of the boys, his dad is in the home. His dad was former Navy, so you already know. that has
Here
its
we
own-
go. Yep.
Oh yeah, that's a wrap.
So you already
Yeah.
so the dad like disciplined his son hard. But here's the crazy thing: the son said that him and his dad had an unbreakable bond, and when he had to be punished, even as a young kid, he understood why.
Wow.
Right.
Like sometimes he was like, all right, he might have hit me a bit too hard or a bit too much, but he understood that the reason he's getting his punishment is because he did wrong. Again, that's the maturity of these kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What really set it off was the fact that as he got older, his dad started to do stuff like, apparently he got in trouble with a girl at school. So then the next day, the dad made him dress up as a girl
Whoa.
for a whole day, and he went to school like
I'm
that.
sorry, as
Dysfunction.
punishment?
Yeah, it's
Dysfunction.
punishment. So you see, that's
That
where
is
that's
so
where it started to
dysfunctional.
that's where it started to switch.
Yeah.
And even that the dad would like personally give him bad haircuts and make him go to school, be like, I'm trying
that's
to
too
embarrass
much.
you.
That's
What
traumatizing.
finally broke the camel's back, the straw that finally broke the camel's back was his senior year of high school. He's getting offers from colleges to play football. And this guy, he's undersized. But he's getting, because he's an athlete. Like when you look at him, you're just like, you wouldn't put him in a position, you'd be like, yo, this guy's just a pure athlete. Like he can do it. And he shows you, I fell in love with the kid immediately. Like I was a big fan. So in first episode, you'll meet him.
Okay.
And so he said that him and his dad got into it, and even the mom, because the mom lives in Arkansas, because this season of Last Chance U was set up in the Bay.
Okay.
They would get into it, and as he got older, it would become more physical. Like, they fight each other. So the kid, realizing that, he's like, you know what? I'm just going to stay at a friend's house for a week just to cool down. Removes himself from the situation. This is during his football season, his senior year. The dad then says that he's off the team. He lost all his scholarships.
Wait, was his dad the coach or his dad
His dad was
removed him
not
from the
coach.
team?
The dad just removed him from
Yeah,
the
just
team.
removed him from it.
He's been involved with his football career because his brother was also the dad's brother was also the boys' youth coach. But he did that. All the scholarships he had, gone. Because he never finished his senior season. So he didn't have enough tape.
Wow.
And then the dad was like, you know what? We can't be in the same area together.
Wow.
You can go live with your mom in Arkansas. From the Bay Area to Arkansas. I bought you a ticket. A bus ticket.
What?
The dad admits that he's like, yeah, that was a dick move. I could have bought him a plane ticket.
When did he realize that?
I don't know when. Apparently after the boy was on the bus. So he took a bus from the Bay Area all the way to Arkansas. Ever since then, he hates his dad. So then in the second episode, find out that it's been like, maybe he's been back in the Bay for like 2 years. He doesn't live with his dad. Instead, you'll find out how he lives. His uncle, and he's cool with other members of his family. His uncle comes and is like, yo, your dad, you should talk to your dad. First time in like 2-3 years that the dad is making an attempt. And you see how it affects him. See how it affects him physically and mentally. And I'm like, yo, this is what people overlook.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to have a parent in the household. It's one, because, the trope of, fathers need to be there for their sons, of course. That's one thing. But then you got to understand, just being there for your son isn't enough.
Not enough.
How do you raise them?
I
I love this season for really capturing these things.
I can't imagine doing that to my child. Like, you gotta allow your kid to pursue their dreams, even if. And I'll say this: even if it may not fit in your makeup of what you see your kid doing.
No, the dad was very supportive of his football career. Always involved. It's just
He just
it's a show of power.
Yeah,
it is. That's
control.
exactly what it is.
Power
It's
and
a show of
control.
power.
You're like, oh, okay.
That's
You
power
think
control.
that you can run away from being one dog?
Yeah.
I got you.
Like that's sickening. Like that for me, showing power as a father, like if I'm allowing you to pursue your dreams and do what you do in the way that
And I've been supporting you throughout it too.
supporting, to me that's exercising my power, not putting some clamp on everything that you do and then shipping you to a whole nother city on a bus.
Bro, not
go
just
stay
the
with your
city,
mom.
but a whole nother part of the country. It's a whole different culture.
Nearly
on a
coast to
bus.
coast.
I'm on the bus
Yeah.
thinking about this.
And
for
that's
hours.
what it was. It just on his time on the
Like-
bus, it went from like love, hurt,
Yo.
betrayal to hate.
He went through the stages of grief. That's what he went through on that
course.
entire bus ride.
So I need to finish up this season, but now I'm like, all right, so we're gonna see how this
I don't.
how this plays
I
out.
might have to watch this before
Yeah,
I get
I'll
to
watch it.
Umbrella Academy.
I'll watch that for sure.
Because the other past 2 seasons, I wasn't like a fan like that.
Nah,
I'm like, oh,
you'll
it's
love
another-
the coach of this season
Yeah.
compared to Buddy and Brown. I mean, Brown was just abusive. Buddy,
Yeah.
he, I didn't mind him, even though he was harsh.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind it. I was like, sometimes you just gotta listen to how it's said, listen to what it said, not listen to how it's said.
The what, not the how.
But then
I
when
dig.
he called them thugs,
Oh yeah.
I hate that.
that's when
I hate that.
it was like, yo, that's the ultimate betrayal to these
Is Buddy a
kids.
black guy or a white guy?
White guy.
yeah.
All the coaches are
Yeah,
white.
they're all
They've all been white.
Okay.
That's when he was the big white guy.
Yeah.
That one. That's first 2 seasons in Mississippi.
Yeah.
That's when it really like.
Didn't he end up getting in trouble for some stuff?
No, that was Brown. The next
Brown.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The dude who
Yeah.
grew up in Compton
Yeah.
came out to where were they? I think like Indiana or something like that.
Yeah.
And he came out with that Hitler clothes. Like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll show you Hitler.
yeah.
Like, it's just-
What?
that's why Brown is just abusive. Just worst coach out of all three.
You know, and I think about it. When you look at, because what we've talked about thus far, especially talking through Last Chance U, is like these different like pictures of men, of patriarchs, whether in families, whether it is your football family or the family unit. And shout out to BJ Sims, posted this.
Yes.
I think it was
He's
yesterday.
doing an amazing job.
Yeah,
with Dream School.
activist and Dream School and all of that. And he said this. He said, "Do you actually know what it's like? What it means to be a man? Like, what's your definition of what it looks like?" And there is no. I don't think we have a firm definition, right? Even in I think the church space, like there's not a firm definition.
changes
It
every
changes
year almost.
it changes, but I think there's one thing that's constant, and it is a need to affect or influence or flex power. And so however that's done, whether healthy or unhealthy, we see the results of it. Whether it is the family patriarch who ends up being a pedophile, or it is a dad who is in the Navy and ends up flexing on his son like that, or coaches, using these kids who it is their last chance literally, and you are a straight dictator and tyrant towards them. This notion of power and the way it affects the male structure and men, it is, I don't think we have enough healthy conversations around it.
Oh no, of course not.
Not at all.
That's why and I'm sensitive to being able to be transparent, vulnerable as a man.
Yeah.
When you are in the space of always using your power, flexing your authority, you're literally like capping off a man's chances to be vulnerable and transparent. This is why you have a lot of men that struggle with their emotions, they struggle with their mental health, they struggle with talking, like just communicating, because they're just told to keep their head up. They're told to keep everything inside. They're told to work 9 to 5. They're told to, express yourself. If you want to express yourself, go to the gym. And I'll be honest, going to the gym, great, do it. But that can't be, you can't use that as an antidote to express what your spirit needs to release. You know what I mean? Or where your heart needs to express. I think there has to be a deeper conversation and a deeper sensitivity and empathy to the man and saying, hey, like, it's actually okay to express yourself. It's actually okay to share what's on your mind. And we still, and I think I said this a while back, like, we still don't have that recipe, it feels like, to where we allow the man to be sensitive in a healthy space. Like, it's okay to be transparent and share what you're feeling in a healthy space. But instead, I feel like we have people, like on Last Chance, you got to flex your muscle, flex your power. And so we see that as high schoolers and middle schoolers, we see that. So we think, okay, that is my way to get through life. I got to flex my power. I got to flex my skill. I got to flex everything else.
Especially when it coincides with your home life.
Yeah,
so
true,
you're constantly seeing it.
Yeah, that's what you
24/7.
reflect. Yeah, that's what you're going to reflect it automatically.
24/7.
So it makes me ask you guys this, because you were starting to talk about it a little bit in terms of discipline for you.
Oh, here we
But
go.
Because
Oh, I know where this is going. Go for it. I know where this is going.
Because, all right, Cecil, you are a father.
Yes.
You just became a father in January.
Yes.
And also, you're about to be a father.
Oh, we are 3
February
months
to be
away.
exact.
Yeah.
So I don't want,
Yeah.
Shout out to Vanessa. I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
wanna
he
get mad,
waited.
but I'm
He
still
waited
man.
too long.
Yeah.
He was supposed to come around my birthday, but he took too long.
Yes.
So,
Took
yeah,
a little
February.
while. Yeah.
So my thing is this for you guys, like, you know, it's one thing to say how I would treat it, but for you, and you can even speak more to this because you're experiencing it right now
You're in
and
the
your
midst
own
of it.
expectation.
Yep.
As first time fathers, as men, and especially with regards to how we were raised too.
Yep.
So there's certain
Yeah.
things that we were,
Yeah.
you know, and you might be able to relate to it too. Is as first time fathers, what is your experience and what is your expectation for how you will treat your son? Cause for both of you, your firstborn is your son.
Yeah.
And how you would treat them in situations that are where discipline comes in.
Yeah.
How you would treat them when there are those awkward conversations that you need to have about, you know, just life stages, puberty, and just in general. Like, how do you plan to tackle some of those tough conversations that sometimes may be over analyzed by these by these father figures that we see in the media, that we see on these shows?
Right. I'll say this, 2 things. Well, number one, I'll just say from my experience, before Jaden got into the earth, was birthed to the earth, I thought I had a whole blueprint on how I was going to handle stuff. This was going to be, this is what I'm going to do. Nervous as hell, like, and scared as hell, like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but this is what I'm going to do. If this happened, this happened, this happened. And I had some people come to me like, yo, like, the truth of the matter is that you're going to fail. Like, you're going to fail in some way, shape, or form. You're going to say the wrong thing. You're going to probably give him the wrong look that he didn't need. Something. Like, it's going to happen, but it's okay. Like, that's the beauty of being a father, is that you're not going to get it right all the time. But the fact is that he still is going to love you regardless. Like, that's the foundation. Love is the first thing. But worrying about if you're going to get it right, throw that out the window. Number 2 was, I noticed even in myself, well, first, I noticed when he got here, I just threw everything out the window. I was like, okay, day 1, go. Like, here it is. But number 2 is realizing that it is essential. It's so important to be a listener before you speak. Like, even as a father, even now, like, he's about to be 6 months. And I notice in times where he may cry, get frustrated, complain, whatever, I notice myself naturally saying what's wrong instead of telling him stop, or telling him, no, don't do that, or get away from this, or anything corrective first. It's what's wrong or what's happening. And I think a lot of fathers, and I'm not, I ain't no veteran. This is my first year of fatherhood. But what I've noticed...
Rookie season.
you know what I'm saying? Rookie season, so I still got the warm-ups on somewhere. But what I've noticed is a lot of times fathers, and just men in general, we have a hard time listening first. It's always speak first, or be proactive instead of just react in certain times.
You have to search yourself.
Yes. I'm not saying react in every situation, because sometimes when you react, that's the unhealthy response. Sometimes you just gotta be proactive. But in this situation, when it comes to a child, man, like, listening to your baby, even if they can't talk, even if they are goo goo gaga and all over the place, they can't talk yet, whatever, they still teething. It's really pretty interesting how well, as a father, like, you get to really see this person mature. and it develops your ability to now listen to him, like his needs, his wants. What is he looking for? What does he need? What is he trying to say with his eyes? And from there, if you allow yourself to like really take that in instead of feeling like you got to correct first, then it's much easier now in the near future to correct, because now you understand them. I have an understanding of my child, so therefore now I know where to correct them. I know how to correct them, instead of just trying to change his whole makeup. Like if he likes chocolate ice cream, I'm not gonna sit here and force vanilla ice cream down his, like, no.
No, give him chocolate milk too.
Give him chocolate milk or chocolate shake. You know what I'm saying? All of it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what it is. And I think that's the best example I can give as far as correction doesn't have to be abuse. You know, using your power in that way is abusive. I will say that. But when you're able to use your power in love and authority in love, use your authority in love, then that's where that child, when they get older, they can receive that. They accept that. They respond to that. They respond to that type of authority. But let's not be fooled. Like, they're not dumb. So they're going to grow up and be like, hold up, bro. Like, I realize you're talking to me this way. I know it's wrong, but there's nothing I can do about it. And that ensues trauma. That now births out this feeling of, oh, I'm trapped and I don't know how to express myself because people are talking to me every kind of way, but I don't know how to express that because I get it from my dad or I get it from my mom. And it's such a dangerous thing that I feel like I've noticed in myself, that you gotta make sure you listen first, even as a baby. And I feel like a lot of people don't do that. They want to correct. They want to demand, correct, shift everything already when they're toddlers. And it's like, wait, like let them be toddlers. Like let them do them. Like if they got their eyes looking at the sun, then let them look at the sun. And if they find not looking into the sun,
I was gonna say,
but
at least give them some Ray-Bans. Give them some baby Ray-Bans.
Some sunglasses. But no, like when it comes to if they like looking at the sunset, for example, I'm not gonna deter them away and be like, oh, don't do this, let's do this because that's better. Like, what if my son actually likes sitting on the dock of the bay?
At that point, your son is really like 70 years old.
Laid back in the spirit.
Benjamin Button.
Listen, you know, might as well crank out some Bill Withers soundtrack. But like, it's just important to listen to your child. Like, don't feel like you got to correct because all of a sudden you know better because now you're in the role of being a parent. Just because you're in the role of being a parent does not mean you know everything. It just doesn't. Sometimes the parent know more than you, obviously. They know themselves. They know what they like. So that's what I've learned. And that's, I guess, my encouragement to people who are about to be parents or soon to be parents is just be listeners. Whatever you thought you learned, whatever you thought you knew, I'm not going to say throw it out the window, but use it in the right timing.
Low key, yeet that joint.
Point noted. I'm taking all these notes right now.
I'm like,
Keep that junk in the trunk. You know
My notes app is currently empty, but I'm taking all them notes.
Everything our parents told us, just disregard it.
Just disregard all of it.
But use it in its appropriate time. That's what I'm saying. Just use it in its right time. And that don't mean you're not going to be able to use it at the right time. But sometimes what you think is right may not be needed at that moment because maybe they just need love. Maybe they just need a conversation. Maybe that'll stop them from doing it. But you yelling at them, telling them stop, no, don't, that won't work. You know what I mean? And I think as a black culture, we have that bad. Like we definitely have that thing of correcting and demanding and power and all this stuff. And it's like, you got to love your child. Like, and we have to learn a new way to love. Love does not mean abuse. Love does not mean power and telling them to do this, do that all the time. And in a very demanding way. Like you're not going to get far. So yeah, Osa.
I'll give my literal 2-piece and maybe a biscuit. I remember I think it was my mom telling me, kids don't come with a manual. Like, y'all don't come with a manual. So I'm just doing with the best that I can. And I remember her even telling me, the day that I had you, it was like a couple weeks after I had you, I called up my mom in tears and I told her, I'm sorry I didn't understand until now. Mm-hmm. And for me, I was like, all right, like I hear all that. Why the heck are you raising me the way you're raising me still, right?
Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah, why? And it's not been until the past few years, I think right before I got married, that me and my little brother started having some real conversations about the way we were raised, and just saying, not saying I'll never do that to my kids, or I'll never raise my kids like that, or I'm going to raise them the exact opposite, but coming to the realization and mourning the fact that our parents weren't as perfect as maybe we had wanted them to be. And being able to say, man, mom and dad were just broken people, and they dealt with some real trauma. I mean, both my parents immigrants. My dad almost got deported when I was 18 months old, and my mom was told, listen, because you're on a student visa and work probably won't be able to come your way, we're going to take the kid from you after we deport your husband and put him in the system, and he's just going to be a kid in the foster system. Dealing with all that, both of my parents coming here, especially my mom, and not having anyone to help her raise me or anything like that. It's just my dad, and he's working 2-3 jobs trying to make things make sense, and so they're just trying to do the best that they can. But one of the most freeing things for me was a mentor told me recently, is him and I were talking about me becoming a father, and he said, what conversations have you and your wife had around how you guys are going to be better than your parents? I was like, that's actually a really good question, because he said, me and my wife, he said, my wife had a crazy upbringing. He said, my parents were present, but they were a mess. And he said, what we committed to do was to make sure that our grandchildren would see a better version than what we knew growing up. So he said, we committed to say, these are the things, these are the cycles that end with us. And so that's something that I've committed to myself, is looking at the way, like, my parents have been married for 33 years, going on 34. Yeah. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, it's 34 years, but like, y'all don't show no kind of affection. If I didn't know y'all were married, I wouldn't know that y'all were married. Like, I don't want a marriage like that. And I remember some of the hard spaces, and even like right now, them trying to deal with being empty nesters. Like, it's been a hard transition. And I know a lot of that is due to the fact that gap of, my mom giving up her teaching career to be a stay-at-home mom, and investing 30 years of her life into her kids, and not knowing anything else or figuring out what's next. Like, I see all of those things, and I'm like, dude, I got to make sure that certain cycles end with me, and make sure that when my kid comes in, if I have more after that, that the cycle ends with me. And so that when they have kids, their kids can look and say, man, grandpa and grandma, like, they're not perfect, but I love them, and they they're doing their thing. Yeah. And it's not a case of, when I look at, like, when I think about my kids going to hang out with my parents, right? Like, there's a little bit of apprehension, because I'm like, my stuff is still a little rough between us. It's still a little, because of that assertion of power. Yeah. And that, when you look at a Nigerian family, like, that power structure and the absolute respect that you have to have for elders. I can only imagine. It's different. But my dad, for example, started to come around recently. Mom, not so much. But I look at those things, and I think, you guys love God. You guys did the best that you could. But there's some things that you guys just don't see in terms of blind spots. Yeah. And those blind spots are cycles that have continued, but those blind spots end with me. And that's my starting pad. That's my launching pad, is to know that this is the cycle that ends with me, and we're going to continue on and be better and be greater.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hope that, all this from Last Chance U. Good job, Abe.
Look at that. Look at how
I've been wanting to.
I know you've been wanting to unpack it. We unpacked that joint.
Yeah, because that was the main focus. I didn't really. I mean, the sports matter, but it's just the different
storyline. It's a different narrative.
It was fatherhood.
Yeah,
like, y'all talk about Ip Man 4. Yeah. I still have yet to watch it, but it's on the list. This is going to be a great weekend for watching shows and movies.
Netflix is about to get all your time.
But it was just like, you mentioned how Ip Man 4 was timely, and then previous episode we mentioned all the black sitcoms that was coming out. That was timely. Yeah. And then Last Chance U this season just seemed everything, and it's crazy because a lot of this, like, there's the timing of the shows in the movie. That's one thing. But the making of Last Chance U was just 2 years ago,
I think
World
Ron 4
was-
the same thing.
Yeah, world was completely different given between 2 years ago and now. Completely different. Yet it still showed the connection. It still showed the strong impact and the relevancy it has today.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what some people won't capture that when they're watching it. They're gonna focus on like, all right, so which one of them made it to the league? Which one of them is in college now? It's like
The process to get there is people don't have no clue of the process of what it likes to get there for a pro athlete. Undrafted, drafted, it don't matter. Because these pro athletes, I mean, that's in their minds, this is all they got. And I'm starting not to like the phrase like, this is all I got. No, it's not. You chose this route, but I think this is your safety nest. This is your way to not, at times, not deal with certain trauma, certain things that has happened that have kind of pushed you in this route of sports so heavily. This is why therapy is important. This is why people,
Mentors,
counselors,
like you got to be exposed to other things.
You do,
Yeah.
you do, and it's gonna get worse in a sense when it comes to media and paparazzi and cameras and obligations that you're really not ready for. There's so many athletes that I guarantee you they'll tell you, I don't know how to do this, but because I'm obligated to, I got to do this. Mm-hmm. That's another layer of thought process that if you don't handle it well, that could develop another traumatic experience. You know what I mean? So it's important that people really understand, and I guess it ties just mental health. It just goes back to mental health of an athlete specifically. And I dare say a black athlete as well. Like your mental health has to be taken care of or else you will go into the sports game and think that that's just all bliss and flowers, and when you retire or something happens and then everything comes back rushing back, now you got to deal with it. It's gonna be a lot. So for sure.
Just you mentioned the mentor thing. Is my relationship with women, my view of women has been purely shaped by all the sisterly and motherly figures I had in my life growing up.
There you go.
I had a lot of women who looked out for me, and it would be it's not even the professionals such as the teacher sometimes. Mm-hmm. It's like the secretary at the front office. Yeah. They build a relationship with you at my high school. The secretary, mm-hmm. her husband was a guidance counselor. He wasn't my guidance counselor. Wow. Her husband was a guidance counselor. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She looked out for me for 4 years of high school. Like this, she looked out for me, Rob, and some others. But she loved me. Like every year, she said, "Let's go to a school bookstore. Yeah, get whatever you want." Yeah, like always looking out. Like my mom would come when to pick me up and see, "Oh, Mrs. Krieger, is Mrs. Krieger in there?" Yeah. My mom is like, thank you for looking out for my boy for today. My mom is like, she's your mother at school. She takes care of all the mothers.
Exactly.
It's like I'll only take care of you.
Anyway, I ain't even worry about anything outside of home.
She needed me.
Take him,
please. Thank God.
You got it from here, right? Okay.
It needs a lot.
I'll see you at 5.
Mentors shape a lot.
Yes, especially the right ones, because your parents will keep you there until and after school program too.
Never turned out a mentor. Never turned out an opportunity out.
So without further ado, thank you guys for watching episode 16. Thank you guys for listening. If you're listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, appreciate you. If you're watching right now on YouTube, we also appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you guys have a safe and healthy weekend. Remember, if you rest in God, you can defeat all the odds. Let me do it because I remembered. And on that note, have a good weekend. I'm your host, Cecil. My boys, Osa and Abraham.
Yo,
Britain's in the building.
I don't even know where I'm
out of here.
At.
You're right. Wow. We're out of here. Right in this camera right here.
See how he does?
Every other week, he's going to remember.
Every other? That's what he does.
I don't think so.
Would you live?
End of the day.